It always has been.
And hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Sherry Schreiner. A couple of things I want to talk about today. It's Friday, and so I'm just going to wrap up the news with my views for the week. You know, really impressed, really surprised this morning to wake up to an article on Henry Makow, however you pronounce his name. You probably all know who I'm talking about. Henry's been around for a long time. I've probably been a subscriber of his site for 10 years, if not longer. And, you know, I don't agree with all of his views. He doesn't agree with all of mine. But he's got some great truth. He puts some great articles on his site. And so, nice to see that he's putting some of mine on his. Put my info up on soul scalping on his site today. I think you can go to, let me give you his website address, henry.com. He is a Canadian journalist. And it used to be Save the Males. And M-A-K-A, Henry M-A-K, O-W. M-A-K-O-W, Makow, I don't know how you pronounce his name. Everybody knows how great I am with pronunciations. And it used to be Save the Males, and he runs that female feminist. He hates feminists, and his stuff's usually pretty funny. I don't like feminists either, but he has political insights for years. One of the best articles he ever had on there that had me on the floor was his article on Sarah Palin being an MK Ultra sex slave. And it was true, but it was just funny. It was just, wow, somebody's putting this on the mainstream. Found somebody as crazy as me. So, yeah, I liked it. So, a good article on Sarah Palin, too. And he's got pictures of that device they used, the mind wiper device. Because Jesse Jackson had it in his hand or something. They use you as a sex slave, and then it's like the Men in Black movie. They point it at you and erase your memory so you don't remember it. And so you see this handoff between Jesse Jackson and somebody else, can't remember it, of this mind device and Sarah Palin going with one of them or whatever. Really good stuff. So, and the red shoes she had on. That's a telltale sign. Most people don't realize the red is the color that denotes sex slave in the MK world. See Michael Jackson with the red leather jacket making it famous. That was code, sex slave. And so Sarah Palin in her red high heels, and it was a really great article. One of the best he's ever written. Besides putting mine up there, a soul scalping article, because it's really getting out there. It's getting really more than being able to less hide it. All these people are being soul scalped and replaced, and I pretty much lay it out. Now, there's two different ways they do it, because Satan has his own, these are mine, and then everybody else in his minions just do it the other way, where the proboscis of a reptilian, the little quill on his forehead crawls, comes off of that reptilian and crawls through the eye of the human and implants itself in that person's brain. Another thing they're doing, which is causing the wonky eye, what you call wonky eye, weak eye. I like the new term I'm hearing, wonky eye. There's another person with the wonky eye. Well, you have the weak eye, because all these people are looking like they take Dayquil and NyQuil at the same time. That's a chip implanting, and it's also the proboscis does that. They take out your eyeball and implant a chip into your brain, right behind your eyeball, and it implants the nerves, optic nerve, in your brain. I know somebody from California who had it done to her was telling me about it, and this was years ago. And that's how you look at them. And I don't even think she said she can't even really see out of that eye. And I've heard that before from other people. They lose sight in that eye because of that chip implant back there. And so when you look at their pictures, it almost looks like a psychopathic glare. And it's one of just evil. You're looking at it, it's like just pure evil. Yeah, it's that chip implant thing. So, and of course, Satan's preferred, this one's mine category, is they take a serpent, which is like cobra. You ever see a cobra snake? They're not that big. I just had experience with one in here a couple months ago. They look like long worms, and they shove it down the person's throat. I saw that happen with somebody I knew. It's like I was watching it happen to her real time there. Men in black showed up at their house and shoved it down her and the kids and throw it to the top. The other way, they take over. And Soul Scout people, that's Satan's brand, because then they're possessed with the serpent. It's just crazy because, you know, we have these cobra snakes here in Ohio, and it's hard to know they're snakes because they just look like long gray worms. And when I saw that soul scalping thing, I was like, that exactly looks like what a cobra snake looks like. Or maybe I'm thinking copperhead. Yeah, cobras are really big. Maybe I'm thinking little copperheads. Copperheads don't scare me. I mean, when you see them on the ground, it's like, what is that? And you're like, oh, it's a snake. It's a copperhead. They're not like big and scary. I think garden snakes are scarier looking. Anyway, yeah, I'd be down the driveway just running away from a gardener snake. All right, so anyway, one of the things interesting coming out is the continuing saga of the Let's Throw Harvey Weinstein Under the Bus. This is getting to be my favorite one because it's almost entertaining and amusing, especially when you don't know what the heck is really going on. Because, okay, Jewish mafia runs Hollywood. We all know this. And so the Jewish mafia is being thrown under the bus. We get it. About time. Get all these perverts out of there. But we want to go after the real ones. Okay, we want to go after the ones who really harm people and really harm kids. That's what we want to see. Because it seems like every time they say, oh, we're gonna shut something down, Pizzagate, they just start throwing the lesser rings off the ladder. And nobody, John Podesta's not in jail yet. Hillary's not in jail. Bill Clinton's not in jail. I mean, nobody major has gone to jail over this child pedophilia stuff. All we're getting is the lesser minions who go transport them around from place to place, or involved with picking them up and like out of DHS, child services, you know, because that's just a huge child trafficking organization. When the government wants to protect something, they put their own in charge of it, like the Warren Commission protected the truth coming out about JFK murder. When they scream child anything in California, they put pedophilias in charge of it. Oh, we're going to protect your child. They put the pedophilias in charge, pedophiles. That's how they do things in California. And so back to my real point, because if I'm right, or not, I'm right, but people, transvestigations are right. Harvey Weinstein's not even a man. He's a woman. He doesn't have a penis. So Haley isn't raping anybody. So I don't know. Let's see where it goes, because I was watching some of these transvestigation videos, and I'm thinking, it goes along with the whole story and lie of Hollywood. What I've been told, everything's a lie. Everything's a lie. It's an illusion. Every woman you see is a man. Every man you see is a woman. And it started a long time ago. And if you want to get to the A-list in Hollywood, hello, it used to be just sell your soul to the devil. Somewhere, probably 20 years ago, it flipped to you had to be a tranny. And we're just now catching on to it, because remember, one of Satan's biggest laughs is how slow we are. You know, he can do something for 100 years, and it takes us 50 to catch up. I think Doris Day was actually the first tranny that goes that far back. This agenda has been going on for a long time. I still have a hard time with it. Now, Giselle Bundchen, I buy it. She's total tranny. But the one that kills me is Tom Brady. Really? That's a Tina? That one's the one that gets me, is Tom Brady. So yeah, I still have a hard time with some of these female to male things. I doubt it. I question it, and so especially because the one has a Adam's apple and the other one doesn't. So I'm thinking there's clones, there's lookalikes in place where they can switch out the real man for a tranny woman. You know, like they did with Miley Cyrus and Avril Lavigne. They switched out the girls for lookalike trannies. And so when they take pictures and they you know, because Giselle's obviously a man, and these people don't have real kids. They use surrogates for that, folks. When somebody asked me, why do they want kids if they're trannies and stuff, or so many of them. And the thing is, to them, they're pushing the agenda along. It's part of their service to Satan to raise one of his own. And so they take these babies, they make them trannies, and they raise them up for Satan. They need numbers. They need more and more and more and more. And that's their contribution to the cause, raising tranny kids. And so still looking for that ultimate confirmation that Harvey Weinstein does not have a dinger. I don't know how you'd get that one. But to me, he doesn't. If you look at the fake beard hair under his chin, the trannies love to do that. Like Cher's daughter, they all do that. They have that hair under the chin on the neck, so you can't tell if they have an Adam's apple. And what I'm told now is they have an Adam's apple implant that they can put into these females so they can look male, because everybody's looking for the Adam's apple things. Now they have this implant, and it's much lower. It's much lower than a normal Adam's apple is. So that one's out there. I can spot those, the fake implant ones. Another thing going on, the lies, is the CA fires. They got this huge distraction going out that all those fires were set by an illegal Mexican. Yeah, right. Like somebody threw a towel bomb, rag bomb, the rag in the gas jar and throws it and starts a fire thing. I don't buy that in a million years, because that would be the only access an illegal Mexican would have, is access to a jar of gasoline and a rag. There is no way he caused all that damage. So that's the huge distraction story. What I do find interesting is Sonoma County was considered a sanctuary jurisdiction and does not cooperate with federal immigration officials. Oh, but now they'll be wanting federal help because their area has just been torched to hell. They don't want the federal government until you need them, right? So that'll be interesting. They didn't want to cooperate with ICE. They wanted to keep their area a sanctuary jurisdiction, and now it's been torched to hell. To me, the evidence is still overwhelmingly strong that it was military accelerants used on that, military-grade accelerants, some kind of chemicals that were sprayed on the area, especially with the depictions of seeing blue flashes shortly before the fire starts, almost like the earthquakes. People see the blue flashes and then earthquakes. So you can tell it's being engineered behind the scenes by a weather weapon. The people who have experienced these earthquakes by weather weapons say the same thing. They saw the blue flashes before it started. And so, interesting. And Hal Turner Radio Show.com had that story on Sonoma County. I guess he's back in the news. I know he disappeared years ago. That one, yeah, don't go with the illegal Mexican distraction crap. Another one, this whole Nevada security guard thing going on with Jesus Campos, who was on Ellen DeGeneres. Now, if you're following the Las Vegas story, they had the security guard from Mandalay Bay, Jesus Campos, who supposedly was an eyewitness. And you don't even know what he saw. They make a big deal out of him being escorted out of the motel by FBI or police or whoever it is. They act like they're going to protect him, and you know right then, kiss your ass goodbye, Jesus, they're going to kill you. And so he mysteriously disappears for a week, then shows up on the Ellen DeGeneres show. Now, I didn't watch the show because I knew by then they've gotten to him. So I figured there would be no real point because, first of all, Ellen DeGeneres, the degenerate she is, only lets people on her show that, number one, is a homosexual or lesbian or feminist. And in Jesus's thing, he would have to be totally government-controlled and operate like all her guests are to get on her show. So I figured he wasn't going to give a bit of truth. Another thing interesting about his whole thing is that he's supposedly a security guard, but there's nothing in the database of the Mandalay Bay. They're so complicit in this whole thing. They should just be arrested as complicit partners in the whole shooting. Nothing in their database. But here's the interesting thing, because nobody has any record of this guy working in the hotel. I'm not saying he does, but he claimed he did. Another one of the things is, though, that people that work in Area 51 apparently moonlight as security guards at these casinos. Apparently, Area 51 pays so poorly that people have to moonlight as security guards at hotel casinos in Vegas. And so, I'm not saying he was an employee of Area 51. I'm just saying, isn't that a weird correlation that there's no info on him, he was wiped clean. They would only do that to people they're truly trying to hide and keep from the public, like Area 51 employees. Like I said, I don't even know what he's testifying to, because I figured they already got to him. Especially if he's on Ellen. Only the scum of the scum get on Ellen. If you watch her show, the worst of the worst are the only ones that get on there. So, good indication of who is totally sold out to the Illuminati agenda by watching who is on her show. So, I was reading comments the other day, and somebody was blasting me because I do all these different types of shows. I have all these different types of websites. I teach and inform people of the things that are going on. And so they're blasting me for being a fan of the UFC. Well, folks, I have to have my downtime too, right? And my downtime is MMA. I mean, if you're a fighter, you're a gladiator. It's in your genes. It's in your DNA. It's in your blood. Then you're gonna be wild. You're gonna be attracted to it. And so I like MMA. I like gladiator sports. And it just so happens that when I noticed that, oh my gosh, the Satanists are ruining this too, then I'm gonna have to have my 2 cents. I'm slow to catch on to things. I'll be the first to say it. But when I do, it's like, now I got you. The tiger eye's on you. You're not getting away. And the one thing that's been making me very angry is the trannies taking over women's sports in general, and the trannies taking over women's MMA. And the UFC is being the huge promoter of this right now. It's like, oh, what's this? Another tranny fight. They're bringing in all these foreign girls that are total trannies. And so I'm not a big fan of foreign girls fighting in the UFC for that very reason. They all look like trannies, even some of the American girls. And so it's going to make you miss the first crop of girls that came through and paved the way for female sport. Ronda Rousey, Misha Tate, all those girls, because those were girls. Now we got the tranny group coming in, and it's making me mad. And like the WNBA, women's basketball, no, that's tranny basketball. And they're taking the spots of real women, and so it makes me angry because they will never be equal, no matter what size boobs you want to pin on and pills you want to take. You will never be a woman, ever, ever, ever. And so I hate the lies. I hate the fraud. I hate being lied to about these trannies. Another thing I thought was funny, on Yahoo, they're talking about, is Melania leaving President Trump after body double rumors? You can now bet on it. Oh, first of all, I thought, okay, here we go with the body doubles, the clones, because everybody noticed this one when they replaced the real Melania with this look-alike clone thing. And you know what? It's amazing, first of all, that she travels with the president everywhere. She's the first lady, first lady. Well, she's a tranny, too, so it's the first, time, though, that one has actually stayed by the side of the president. I kind of like it, it's kind of different. Because, like, Obama and Michelle didn't even live together for 8 years. She had a penthouse in a hotel in D.C. on one side, and he was on the other side, in Georgetown. And so they didn't even live together for 8 years. That's what a sham that was. At least Melania and Donald lived together. I'm not saying they live in the White House. I'm sure he's probably in his hotel down the road. But they're together. They're genuine, which we didn't have with Obama and Michael. They couldn't be any more disingenuine. The whole thing was a total lie. And I've noticed if they're going to bring out the clone of Melania, then you can believe it's a clone of Donald. Because the picture I'm looking at isn't even the real Donald. And so, Hillary Clinton got busted doing this years ago. She was in 2 different parts of the world. One of her clones made the news. Being down in Latin America is part of her job as the State Department, and then they pictured her somewhere else at the same time and the same day. It was funny. Even she laughed about it because they use clones, they use lookalikes, and so can't be everywhere at once, right? That's why I said when I see the real Trump, I enjoy that one because I hate the clones. The clones are goofy. They remind me of Alec Baldwin on Saturday Night Live when he's parroting Trump because they're goofy. For some reason, his clones are just goofy. Obama's clones were outright evil, and they just reeked of evil. And, when you use a clone, demons possess them. And that's why all these shape-shifting anomalies come out in clones, because there's no soul there. There's no human soul. It's It's an animated human being with a computer download of the mind of the person you're cloned off of, so you think you're that person, but you're possessed by demons because they're the ones who are animating their body because you're not a soul. It's just really weird. It's really out there. And so what happens is these things just get inundated with demons, and it just pours out of their skin. You can see weird configurations in their head, like Obama. You can see demons in his head and his hair, and it just happens. And so one of the anomalies of using clones. So even lookalikes can be controlled too, folks. So anyway, that's all I have time for. I'm running out of time. But yeah, you can do your own research on everything I talked about. I will be back on Monday night. Keep your eye on the sky. The sun is setting away. The sun is setting way southwest, signaling pole flip at any time, folks. It's time. Can't tell you the day, but that's a good sign that the Earth is getting ready to flip. Anyway, be back Monday. Go to my website, SherryShriner.com, and click on the donate page and help support my ministry, folks. Till next week, everybody. God bless.